Today I would like to talk about whether Siddha science or Siddha healing is magic, or are Siddhas truly magicians, and how to understand and navigate in this age of darkness amongst all kinds of people who use the term Siddha, who use the term Kundalini, the term spiritual energy healing, and how to understand, how to tell the weeds from the wheat. It's very important. As ancient Siddha Abhinavagupta said, after all, it's either divine grace or divine wrath. All those who find those false paths and consider them as the only ones or as the true paths have divine wrath on them. And those who manage to find and discover the path within and also are able to manifest that path externally, integrated and emanated, are those who have divine grace. So at some point, the maturity of the soul leads us to the discovery of the true path within, which is based on the experiential knowledge, rather than dogmatic religious teachings or spiritual dogma of any sort, of movements, spiritual speculation, play with magical tools, trinkets, calling for ghosts, looking for divination and trying to find answers for the future. The future never happens. Those who look for the future are chasing ghosts. Most of the people live in the past, and their unrefined past rules their present, moves their consciousness, pushes them either to look for genuine solutions, for self-refinement, for deeper understanding of life and themselves, or pushes them to continue that play on a slightly different level. And most of our spirituality is sheer magic. True Siddha teaching is always about the power of transformation. The transformation of the past, the refinement of the past, that is the reason for our current incarnation, for the creation of this body. This body is a fruit. It defines the inner state of being. It defines the state of consciousness. And if this fruit is diseased, if this fruit is draining, if it's sick and tired, it means there is something else which makes it happen. And what is it? Is the limited, or the consciousness which is in the shackles of self-limiting beliefs, self-imposed veils, emotional thought veils, and so on. And many people have come to this conclusion that yes, this is how it is. But to come to this conclusion doesn't mean to know and to discover, to awake to the solution. There is no solution without spiritual awakening and experience of the ultimate, because it is the ultimate that helps one's individual limited consciousness to realize the transitory nature of all that which is not the ultimate. So if you experience yoga integration, you're able to say that I realize that all the rest comes and goes. So you stop chasing ghosts. You stop living in the past and future, but gradually come to the neutral equanimous point of now. And to live in now, no matter how many people talk about it and proclaim, is an art of self-mastery. When you are the emanation of stillness, when you are the emanation of that equanimous, blissful being, and even if you come out of that stillness, you're able to bring yourself back to it you are able to dwell on it, you're able to integrate it with your everyday life. That's spiritual mastery. And if you look for or project onto awakening and enlightenment some flares and hallucination or magical acts, you are in spiritual delusion. And until you come out of the spiritual delusion through challenges and problems in life, you won't be able to realize how simple spirituality actually is, how simple the truth is. And until you're chasing the ghosts and look for action-driven, ambition-driven solutions, and being half-baked, you offer all kinds of trinkets and magical acts and rituals to people in the name of Siddha healing, Siddha Kundalini healing, Siddha Kundalini Shaktipat, and so on and so forth. You're a fool with a group of fools, because Siddha presence and Siddhas never teach like that. They don't teach at all. They emanate, they share. Wherever they walk, their presence changes and shifts people without those people acknowledging the Siddha presence, without even those people recognizing that being for being a Siddha. If you are full of spiritual narcissism, keep on proclaiming yourself, keep on spreading delusion, because it's all right. It's the age of delusion. Those who are able to see the truth from all the rest, those are the fortunate ones. Abhinavagupta said that those are the ones who have divine grace on them. All the rest dream of the grace. They use the grace every day, the word grace, but they have no idea what the grace is, what it means. Kundalini awakening, enlightenment, Shaktipat, Siddha became very popular words. And that's why it's so hard to understand what is what and who is who. But that's all right too, because when one is able to experience and be touched by the invisible ray of grace within themselves, they know that it's their time. It's the maturity moment when they can and will awake from the slumber of the delusion of the self-imposed veils and all this darkness that is within and outside. This external manifestation of our reality is just the reflection of the collective darkness within ourselves. We as species have chosen that. Everyone is on their level, but pretty much more or less everyone shares the same vibration. If you dream of Siddha Kundalini awakening using drugs, mushrooms, psychedelic music, crystals, rituals, supposedly Siddha alchemical preparations like Navapashanam, they're non-existent. This knowledge is gone. The true Navapashanam is when you awake and tap to the elixir of youth and immortality within yourself. And when you refine your 9 poisons within, which are greed, jealousy, comparison, competition, then Siddha grace is there with you and you realize all the dimensions. You don't want to be a magician. You don't want to play with different entities or entertain people because you haven't refined superiority. Because spiritual narcissism pushes you to heal and teach everyone, to spread something. But it's not natural. It comes from the corrupt identity, from the victimized self that needs to be something, to become something, to be acknowledged. The true teaching is happening naturally without those beings having such a desire. The healing is an energetic shift, but this energetic shift happens because there's conscious shift. The trinkets will not happen. The trinkets will not help this process. your tools, your magical wooden sticks, stones, crystals, nonsense. This is not Siddha path. As long as you play with those tools, you're a magician. You're a lower form of tantric. You're not a tantra master. You're a tantric who engages into worship, ritualism, sacrifices in order to manipulate this reality. But the power of an enlightened being discards it all. Those who challenge higher power become challenged themselves and eventually die from that power, which they attempt to hurt. That's always a warning of life, because no matter in how dark ages we're living, the higher principles, the universal principles are still valid. Either people are consumed by the power because they're driven by ambition and impurity, or they become the abode of this power, and that is rare. If you look for solutions for manipulation of this reality, you will find these solutions through different acts. These sciences exist, and Siddhas knew about them because they knew the multidimensionality of their being. But to know them does mean to employ them, to be above them, to be able to maintain the order. That was the principle. Shiva is able to control all the lower beings and entities, but Shiva is above them. It means that our awareness should be there on all the levels, but our actions and our dwelling is not on that level. All the current magic, all the current healing and rituals for improving your life are based on your karmic entanglement with different kind of entities or lower gross emotional realm. That is not true enlightened spirituality. That is that lower spirituality for the solution of your daily problems. The true healing, if the healing is based on removal of entities because of some affliction, occult influences, and so on, it appears to be as a positive healing, as a positive shamanic art or tantric art. If you're on the path of enlightenment, you may get such help on some level if you have certain afflictions. Yet you have to realize the root causes of such afflictions. You have to understand that this is all within, how this illusion plays through you and who you are. Unless you realize that, all your spirituality is just a mere game, speculation, and delusion, just on a different spiritual level. May this day be a shift.